Madam, I would like to speak on several items dealing with the various aspects of the operational side of the Indian Railways. Firstly, we have to take into consideration that after partition, the Indian Railways had to bear a great strain. A lot of disturbances did happen in the very structure of the railways, and it was with great foresight that it could be met so well. The first thing that occurs to us is about the rolling stock. The rolling stock is very important because India used to import a large number of engines and so many other things which are associated with the operational side. It is very heartening to see that today most of these things are being produced in India. Recently, I had the privilege of visiting some of these factories, especially the Chittaranjan factory, and I saw that the recent manufacture of an electric engine was something indicative of the wonderful achievement. Steam engines and diesel engines are manufactured, the latter ones, Varanasi. These have gone a long way in meeting the demands of the railways sufficiently. As far as many other things connected with the electric equipment are concerned, I find that they are also produced in a large number at Bhopal. At the heavy electricals factory, which I had the privilege of visiting only the other day, and they have given a very good account of themselves. These things should augur well for future activities as far as the railways are concerned. Madam, about the amenities and so many other things concerning the second class passengers, the railways have done very well. A democratic government as it is has to look to the needs of the second class passengers who subscribe to the tune of 80% of the railway revenue. Installation of fans in coaches, construction of passenger halls, and above all, the abolition of the invidious distinction about exit and entry of the passengers do speak very well of the administrative side. And apart from the amenities, the existing thing that we see is that those people who have been working, I mean the railway staff, have also been accorded a number of facilities. At some places, it was a heartening scene to see students taking wholesome meals which were subsidized by the railway administration. These are some of the points to which I have to draw your attention. After having given my thoughts to these things, I would like to speak on certain matters which have engaged my attention currently. Madam, I feel that at this hour we have to devote our attention to saving every rupee that we can. In that context, I say that as far as construction of buildings is concerned, it should be done in the same perspective. I mean, there are stations which have been demolished, stations which could have been quite serviceable for years to come. There were some very good situations. They were quite strong ones. Some were given a new look. At this hour of emergency, when we need every rupee to be saved, this has to be given serious consideration too. The second point that I would like to bring to the notice of the Honorable Minister of Railways is that as far as the narrow gauge railway lines are concerned, I have gone through some of their financial aspects and I am not really happy. I feel that as early as possible, the narrow gauge should be abolished because if you could save to the tune of rupees 2.5 crores annually and the same could be invested in converting the line into broad gauge or even meter gauge, that would be a better project. I understand that the Railway Board is also giving serious consideration to this aspect to the thing. Now, I would like to draw the attention of the Honorable Minister to a very important factor. As is the progress made in other democratic countries in the matter of our railways, also we should try to make it more modern. We should rationalize it and also make it modern in a manner which may compare favorably with the railways in other advanced countries of the world which have gone much ahead of us. I mean, in this connection, that our research designs and standards organization should be given more consideration than has been given to it so far. Madam, I can quote in this context some of the organizations working in various countries, especially in Japan, Britain, and America. Japan is one country which has gone far ahead of even many of the Western countries. Those who have seen the performance of the Japanese railways will bear me out that it is an amazing feat how the entire system is gradually being developed, how it is all more or less electrical equipment and electrical operations with manual labor employed the least. Whereas we have the steam locomotive and some of the crude methods of operations on the railways, Japan has gone far ahead of us. Mr. Chairman, I support this resolution very strongly, but my doubt is whether the environment required for successfully carrying it out can be created in the country. The experience of cooperation in the past has been analyzed in the report of the Rural Credit Survey of the Reserve Bank, and their conclusions are not very encouraging, but even then we should lay our hope on cooperation and we must proceed. Now, I am speaking about distributive cooperation or consumers cooperation. In this country, I know in the last few years, the traders have been making large profits by raising prices. We often complain of deficit financing as the cause for the rise in prices, but really a large part of it is due to the traders. Take the case of even vegetables. In Delhi, for instance, the vegetables are sold at very high prices because of the traders clinging together. And this has been going on all over the country. That is to say, goods are sold at high prices not because the prices at the source are high, but because the people who are trading in them join together, add all kinds of extras and sell them at high prices. This has been going on for the last many years and the prices have been going on fluctuating. This has resulted, as the Honorable Member pointed out, in the setting up of inquiry committees and commissions, and the important consideration has been about increasing dearness allowance to catch up with the rising cost of living. Now, sir, the cost of living increases have been chiefly on account of this unnecessary rise in prices due to joint action by the traders. And what has been the consequences of all that? There have been so many inquiries and there have been strikes because the pay has not been increased according to the cost of living. I do not want to go into all that, but the point here is that all these troubles, these labor troubles especially, are largely due to these high prices. So it must be effectively controlled. If we can cooperatively organize shops in different areas under non-official management, it is possible to do that. It is necessary to keep the prices under control, especially of the necessaries of life. The Honorable Member mentioned various articles. First of all, food grains are the most important. In regard to food grains, fair price shops are there in Kerala, for instance, but the prices of other articles are still going up in almost all the towns in the country, not because they are not available in the countryside at lower prices, but people have to buy them locally and the traders are controlling them. The same is the case with clothing also. All kinds of articles which are required by the common man are being sold at very high prices. So all these items have to be taken up. Now people may ask, who will do all that? That can be done and has been done. I have got experience of Madras for nearly 20 years. There is the Urban Cooperative Society, which is doing exceedingly well. It has got about 30 branches in the city. The society was started by poor teachers to provide such things for themselves and for others who are drawing small salaries. These people come in the evening and work together like brothers. The difficulty is that we have a wrong conception of cooperation. We have been trying to put it into the hands of paid officers. I am not entirely against it, but we do want honorary works at the top. As the Honorable Member said, this idea must be planted in the minds of the people in their very childhood in the schools. There are schools in some parts of the country where cooperative societies are run by the school boys. They make their own cooperation purchases and sales. In my opinion, therefore, the whole thing must start in schools and colleges. There, all purchases must be made on cooperative basis, and thereby the very idea of cooperation must be put into the young mind. By practical experience, they must be taught. They will then develop into most useful honorary workers afterwards. I have been speaking about cooperation, that is to say, distributive cooperation, but we can go further. Even in productive cooperation, we could do a lot. There is plenty of waste land in the country. If only the landless laborers are colonized in those places, made to work cooperatively for increasing production, surely production could be increased in the country. We are talking aloud about increased production, but we connected it with imposing slogans like sealing on land, etc. There is plenty of waste land all over the country, but they have to spend money over that land. They can be given about 5 to 10 acres, and in this cooperation can help. In that way, you are sure of increasing the production in the country.